I'm now going to take you through the film resources for French, and we're going to have a look at Les coups, which is one of my favourite films and which I've often talked about on courses. So we've gone through the main menu and we're now clicking on the link through to the course here. And the purpose of me producing these files was basically to make film somehow more tangible, because there's that first glow of interest when they watch the film, discuss it afterwards briefly, and then you've got several months, a couple of months maybe, getting to grips with the detail of it in order to be able to write an analytical essay. So we look first at what's on offer. I've done a very detailed summary with room there for vocabulary and for comments on the right hand side, so you can jot in camera techniques, etc. But the idea of the gapped verbs is to really get the students, strange as it might seem, up to speed with the present tense, which is what we use mainly when talking about what happens in the film in an essay. Although, of course, we use a range of tenses for talking about analytical things. So there you have a very long, detailed essay with some interesting vocabulary, which hopefully will stick. And the other thing to help consolidate knowledge of the film is, and it's got the timings of the different parts of the film, and it's questions about various elements, including techniques used, etc. And you'll see there we've got how it fits in with education, and further on there are elements of the family. So bringing in topics that you'll be studying in the course of the language side of the paper. There aren't any answers to the questions, because the intention is that it's a personalised account of the film that emerges from it as they put the answers together. And you can do it orally and then the answer by writing afterwards. Clearly, the character of the protagonist is extremely important, so I've provided a list of relevant, hopefully sophisticated language that they can evaluate by taking adjectives and seeing to what extent the characters embody that particular element of character, along with some plum expressions which would introduce traits of character, how character changes through the film, etc. So, moving on, I'm a great believer of grammar in context, because you should try to keep as much as possible in the language as you can, I think. And the first exercise there, the multi-tense tool, is basically taking a verb, and the first one is accuser, so there's lots of accusing going on, and taking it through the different tenses, and then the verb sentir and the irregular one, se sentir. And one of my tutees once asked me to provide an example of a particular verb in all the tenses, so that she could get her head around how they all fitted together, and I found that it was a really good idea, hence its presence there. The the essay requires very detailed knowledge, forensic knowledge of the film or book, really. So we've taken quotations from the film, and you have to say who's saying what to whom and when. And then it takes you a little way forward and in encouraging the students to give an indirect speech version of it, which might work better for quoting evidence in the essay rather than trying to fit in a direct quote. Then the so-called A factor is intended to get the students using good quality of language, for instance in using on plus present participle, by doing in order to encourage the use of complex sentences. Then the passive, which is obviously a good quality of language banker there. And then, the present subjunctive, which is generally the level of subjunctive required, pour, etc. All in context, of course. So in doing the exercises, it's also a revision of the content. Moving on, going back over the film all the time can take a little while. So I produced a sequence of drawings that covers all the scenes of the film. And the idea of that is you've got sentence starters using good quality of language things, and you can use it to talk about what point is brought up in that film, how it illustrates particular themes. It's a nice quick way of working through it. You can even make it into cards if you like, and deal them out and get people to talk about parts of the film or put them back into order, whatever you like. Of course, you could do the same thing with screenshots. Then you've got, as you go on, essay plans and a sample essay. What motivates Antoine? After presenting them with an essay plan, showing them how to plan in a non-sequential way, we have a sample where we demonstrate how what motivates Antoine's actions, and you can see how we're demonstrating a link back to the title there with actually the word excellent at various places, although you can use synonyms obviously. The students can see what a well-constructed essay looks like with a short introduction, short conclusion, and relatively short paragraphs with plenty of illustration. And I think this will prove very helpful to people to find their way around the film, and for being able to quote materials, to quote examples. So you've got, I dictated the film down, and it could be in more detail what's happening at different times, but at least you can whiz through it and find examples of what you need to quote for particular themes, etc. in the essay. I've got links, as I have in several places, to Les Leçons de Cinéma on YouTube, and this one is on the shots, types of shots, and encourages the student to talk about the film techniques wise in an analytical way. And finally, you've got lots and lots of not lots and lots, but you've got enough links to good resources, particularly there the Cinéma au Collège booklet. It's got lots of stuff on truthful and why he made the film, how he made the film, and the reaction to it. So very, very useful. And for all the exercises there, you've got some corrected versions, so the students can correct it themselves if you want that. So that's a typical film unit. They vary in what they have available, and depending on which courses I've been on and created extra files for.